How's it, guys? This is Davey FPL and welcome back to the live stream here. A little bit of a different one. It's not going to be a deadline with Davey. I thought I'd put this video out there today, Sunday afternoon, after the Man City fixture and Arsenal has concluded. It ended 3-0, so if you like me, you were quite happy still owning the likes of KDB and Sterling. But if you managed to transfer them out, maybe for the likes of Son, a little bit disappointing there with those results. But this purpose of this stream is going to be kind of a discussion about the wild card, and we're going to be talking about some factors that go into it, whether we're going to be wild carding, whether we won't be, and all like that. So appreciate all of you guys in chat. I've had some technical difficulties this weekend, as you would have known, and today it continued with my phone, so I was not able to tweet out that we are going live stream. So these are probably the people with the notifications on, so the hardcore Davey FPL fans. So I really do appreciate you guys coming out here on a Sunday night or afternoon, or even maybe Monday morning, whether you are in those types of places in the world. So really do appreciate you guys coming out here, and hopefully this stream is quite fulfilling and quite useful. Firstly, I just wanted to say a shout out to our sponsor, OneFootball. You would know that I've been sponsored by them if you do watch my videos. So a quick shout out about the app. I was following the games throughout the weekend. As you know, I did not have power. I got power back. So throughout the weekend, I was checking up on the app for the live scores and whoever made the goals or assists. So it was quite useful for me there. So I will appreciate if you guys do download it. Link down in the description if you want to. It's a free app and it's kind of good for that. But otherwise, let's get into what this purpose of this video has been. So basically, this is going to be about the wildcard discussion. First question, should we wildcard, yes or no? At this point, I don't really know, to be honest. I'm leaning towards maybe using the wildcard, but after this weekend and how the fixtures occurred, the Manchester United and Spurs assets that I really was keen on getting didn't look that great, and I was wondering maybe I should hold off on them. Maybe just play this lineup that I have. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring event due to the players like Leicester playing Man City and also Chelsea playing Spurs and that kind of thing. So I think a lot of people are going to be kind of chop and changing it a little bit, and maybe this is a week to kind of sit still and then assess the fixtures from then on. Obviously, we've been talking about using the wild card since about where everyone else is using their wild card around game week 5 to game week 10. But now it seems every game week is so unpredictable that we reach the stage at the conclusion of the game week and suddenly we're like, listen, I don't know if we want to use it. But I thought that this would be a good kind of discussion to have. This is currently the team that I am sitting with. So with this lineup, I managed to transfer out a Jose Perez for Jack Grealish. I think that transfer, maybe now that I look at it, I was like, maybe that's a little bit of a rush transfer. The reason I did it was that Perez was going to be dropping down in price, as you would have seen last night, and I wanted to get Jack Grealish in. His fixtures are quite good. He plays Southampton, Norwich and Watford in the next 3, which are particularly quite nice fixtures over the next 3. So I brought him in. I know that he missed a penalty and he managed to get his owners 0 points, but that's the perfect player you kind of want to jump on because not many people are going to be looking at them, and you can kind of fit in that a little bit of a differential swing. They're still under 10% owned. I'm pretty sure over the next 3 that will increase, but I also I forgot to say, please just tell me if the audio is sounding fine. That's just one thing that I wanted to cover, that I have upgraded my computer to Windows 10 now, so everything's kind of been reset. So please just say if the audio quality is fine. Otherwise, I'm just going to read out some people in chat. We've got some people saying that they're from all around the world. From Qatar, says Mohammed. We have Blair Wilson, 532 in Australia. Thanks for being out here. Hopefully you haven't stayed up till that late. Maybe you're just waking up for work or something like that. But we also have some questions, obviously, and I'll try to get to as many questions as I can throughout this video. But as I said, it's probably going to be more of a discussion, and I'll ask for your guys' opinions over on Twitter for the previews and that kind of thing. A lot of people talking about the KDB and Sterling points. I know a lot of people generally lost a little bit of faith, but I don't really blame you. They were performing quite badly. I just wasn't really going to transfer them out before the Arsenal fixture, just because of how woeful Arsenal have been. We also have a question here about the wild card. haven't you got only until the end of December? You do. You only have until the end of December. So, but there's a couple of game weeks from now to the end of December. So just make sure to use it before then. Otherwise, you can even scrap your wild card if you really don't want to use it. Last year's wildcard, I only used right at the end of basically the last game week, and it almost looks like that with this wildcard. So Ben Meyer saying wildcard draft. I'm planning to do a wildcard draft tomorrow. I felt a little bad if I did almost promise this wildcard that we would be using it this week and then we don't. I still want to give something for those people who will be wildcarding. So probably a wildcard draft out tomorrow, then the normal preview and team selection coming up later in the game week. Also say if you want any other videos, any particularly interesting videos for me to do, and I'll hopefully cover those as I am still on holiday, so I've got quite a lot of free time. But otherwise, with this wildcard, the decision comes down to basically whether I'm going to be using it or not. And as I said at the start of the stream, I'm having a little bit of second doubts now just because of how Manchester United and Spurs got on. So I'm thinking of maybe holding it until a better fixture list comes up. If we look at the fixtures here, the only reason why I'm saying not next game week is Man City play Leicester, Spurs play Chelsea. There's not that many outstanding options to kind of bring in. Whereas if we kind of move it on a little bit, we could maybe hit the fixture swing of some of these other clubs and then jump on the bandwagon. The one thing that I am quite interested in, and one thing that I think maybe take note of, is basically not having a Liverpool player until game week 25. You can see on screen they have a couple of red fixtures. In between, they have Sheffield United and Wolves, who have been not that much of a pushover recently. And then obviously Manchester United, always quite a close game, and then Wolves away again. So it looks like if you're going to be maybe wildcarding now, you could go without Liverpool players for this entire run until game week 25 and then jump on them, which is maybe the reason why I could wildcard this game week, because I kind of want to jump on those players that not many people will be getting. The three teams that I probably will be focusing on are Crystal Palace, Spurs, and Manchester United. So that will kind of go over when we do that wildcard draft. And then I'll show you a team that I'm desperately wanting to get in, but this game week has almost made it a little bit kind of lackluster, and I'm not really that amped. I think if Spurs went out and smashed Wolves, that would be another story. I think I'd be jumping on that wild card right away, triple Spurs in my lineup, and then we won't be looking back. But now, since I did predict it would be quite a close game, but I didn't really think it would be that true. But other than that, I don't really know. But I don't think that I would be transferring out Kevin De Bruyne. A couple of questions in chat here from Morgan Stanley. They're saying, I sold Kevin De Bruyne after the Leicester game. I don't really think so. I think that he's probably the one Man City player that you will keep. You can transfer out the likes of Sterling and that kind of thing, but KDB looks like a set starter, and I think that he'll be quite good in that Man City lineup. Why Man U horrible against teams that sit back? That is true, but they do have some nice fixtures over there. I think that we can say that they do terribly against teams that sit back, but those are usually the worst teams. So you don't often hear in FPL, oh yes, like my guy's playing against a top 6 side. Like this should be a good lineup for him. You often say like, oh, Watford, Newcastle, Burnley, those should be easier fixtures. So it's kind of like you kind of have to get like a nice happy medium and an attacking team that does quite well. And I mean, even this weekend, we have an attacking team that is defensively bad in Norwich, who managed to hold Leicester to a 1-1. So this season's just been quite unpredictable and that kind of thing. So I also wanted to say, I hope you guys are doing quite well in that FPL Cup. I think that I'll be going through till the next round, so hopefully you guys do as well. There were a couple of really funny teams that I've seen over on Twitter. These kind of make you realize the type of FPL players that we do have amongst us. I've seen the likes of 5 injured players still in the lineups, a player captaining the likes of a goalkeeper and that kind of thing. So hopefully you manage to overcome the first hurdle. Most teams kind of go out in about 5 game weeks time. I know I never really get that far into the cup. So hopefully this has been a good game week for you guys as well. And I know that the Vardy captain was a little bit of a bust this game week, but to be honest, I probably was never going to captain anyone else, so I'm not really that annoyed by it. But we'll talk about this game week a little bit later on in the week with those other videos. Josh Simmons saying, how many points did you score this game week? I think you're going to have to wait a little bit there, Josh, till the team selection. This video is kind of just going to be about a wild card and whether to wild card or not. So it'll be interesting to see some of your guys' thoughts here in chat. We have David saying, if you don't choose to wild card, could you still do a wildcard draft? I definitely will. I'm planning to record it tomorrow, and that will probably hopefully be out by Monday afternoon, because as I said, I felt a little bit bad for not wildcarding, even if I've promised it, kind of, not really promised it, but I've kind of been saying what I'll be doing. We have a couple of scores being posted in the group, and nice to see a lot of green arrows and a lot of rise ranks there in chat. We have Paul saying, time for Pulisic to Grealish. I think right now that could be quite a nice punt. Chelsea is a little bit tough because they've been such a good attacking side, and I think that just these last two fixtures have been quite bad. And if you are going to be managing to hold on from one game week, they then have Southampton, and then they have Arsenal away. And as we could have seen today, that Arsenal away fixture should not be a difficulty 4 fixture. It's actually quite a nice fixture to have. Does anyone know what the average is so far? I don't currently know what the current average is, I think around the 35 mark, so it probably will rise to about the 45 mark. So in terms of those of you who have the wild card, who of you are using it this game week? I'll be interested to see that in chat, because I know a lot of people have been kind of following my game plan or whatever, so I want to see if any of you are definitely hitting that wild card this week. Say it in chat. Don't you think this team needs a wild card? I do think it needs a wild card, but I don't think that the fixtures this game week are going to be that great to wild card into. I'll be transferring the likes of Spurs triple up probably, which are playing Chelsea at home. And I know recently that hasn't been that bad of a fixture to go to. But I do think that Chelsea, against the top 6 side, there are a couple of surprises every now and again. But that could be a wise transfer in. I think that Chelsea's probably the current team you want to be playing in the top 6. So we also have Robbo was annoying being subbed on for 20 minutes to go cost me my bench, Kelly. It was an annoying substitution there. I wasn't really expecting Robertson to be benched, but just one of those things we have to deal with. Unfortunately, I wasn't on my phone, so I wasn't able to see that starting news that was leaked of Robertson not starting. Otherwise, if we were doing a deadline with Davey stream, I'm pretty sure most of us would have been saved that bench position. So a little bit annoying there, but it's just one we have to kind of take on the chin. J Ham saying there, the game week 18 is really tricky. It is, and that's why I don't really know what to do for it. Because if you look at it, if I was to wild card, I don't know if I would keep my Leicester players. They play the likes of Man City, then they play the likes of Liverpool. So I can't see many results from them in that case. But the thing is, I don't have enough transfers to transfer them out, because the perfect world would kind of be transfer Leicester players out this game week and then wildcard them back in for this run. So if I don't wildcard, it might be worth just keeping them in my squad and kind of seeing a rotation. And a lot of people are kind of thinking of differentials to keep. I know Jimenez was the one that people said that they want to transfer him out, but I was like, I would keep him for this game week, because if you look at my team, there's no captaincy options here, and I don't see a good captaincy option apart from the likes of maybe Jimenez against Norwich away. That should be quite a good one. So if you manage to hold on to Jimenez, that's going to be perfectly fine, and you should be quite good on that one. And in terms of players that I would be targeting maybe if I was to wildcard, it would be the Spurs options. I would be transferring out the Liverpool assets. I don't think that it's worth holding on for the Liverpool, the blank, and then Leicester away. I don't see many points being there, and I do think that it's worth transferring them out for that one, and then maybe bringing them back in if you want to maybe bring in for these home fixtures. Yeah, but as I said earlier, I think that I'll be looking to only bring them back in around game week 25. I think that should be quite profitable. I think that will be kind of a mega differential to go for, and that will be quite nice if the Liverpool assets don't really perform that well, and then my assets that I picked up perform much better. That'll be quite a nice differential to have. In terms of other captaincy options you could go for, apart from, as I said, Jimenez against Norwich, You could even go for the likes of maybe Lundstrom in this clash between Brighton and Sheffield United. Obviously, there is that fixture tomorrow night that we have not seen yet. Crystal Palace versus Brighton. So depending on how Brighton perform there, that could maybe sway a couple things. But in terms of other transfers, Danny Ings, apparently, I did not watch the game, but apparently he was quite unlucky not to get apparently had two nice chances there to score. So maybe a little bit unlucky on that one. So you could even go for someone like this. I don't know if I'd be targeting these high clashes. Currently, I am on Kevin De Bruyne as my captain. That was before his haul today. So don't say that I'm a glory fan here and I'm only captaining him because of how well he did. I had this on him because he usually does quite well at home. And I think that Man City have to beat Leicester in this one if they kind of want to keep up with this title race. So captain De Bruyne so far. You could captain anyone else. I don't really think I'm comfortable with captaining a Grealish or someone like that. I do think, as Cyrus is saying there, that I do think that Spurs will win against Chelsea, but I don't know if it's going to be that much of a smashing. I think that it might be like a 2-1, 2-0 or something like that. I don't think it's going to be like a 4-0. If I do wildcard, I think that I would want it to be a 4-0, but I don't know if it's the best fixture for Chelsea's triple up. We have some other questions here. I'm saying Man U versus Watford. Watford are junk at the moment too. They are junk at the moment, but as you saw with Liverpool, they are, like most teams, they sure up against the top six. They tend to kind of make themselves a little bit more defensively solid. And I think against Man U, we're going to see this the same way. You've seen in the last two fixtures of United that they have kind of shown that they struggle to kind of break teams down and that kind of stuff. So I don't know if I'd be that comfortable with captaining one of them, but if I was wildcarding this week, I definitely would look at the Man United options. There's also, I saw that Greenwood did score today, so that'll be quite an interesting one. We have some people saying that he should start that fixture, but I really don't know if he will, unless there was an injury. Just keep me updated if there were any injuries in that United game, but as far as I know, there wasn't, so I don't really know if Greenwood would be starting that much. Captaining Jimenez, I think that's a great shout to go with. I think that's probably the outstanding captaincy option this week. I don't think there's any other one as good as probably Jimenez against Norwich. There are a couple of other good ones, but I think that Jimenez against Norwich probably has the highest ceiling. Mohamed's saying, do you really wish Liverpool assists not scoring since you are a Liverpool fan? I am a Liverpool fan, but I don't know. I sometimes have to differentiate supporting and fantasy and that kind of stuff. I've activated my wildcard, as you said you were going to wildcard this week, says Felix. So it's not a bad time to wildcard. I still might wildcard. I'm just saying that I have a different kind of perspective on the game week now since these last two fixtures have happened. So I might still have wildcarded this game week. I might not. It just all depends. But I never kind of said that I was officially going to wildcard. So apologies if that's your interpretation of that. Sterling pulled up at the end of the game. I did see that. I kind of glimpsed past the television and I saw that he had pulled up. So just check on that. Hopefully it's not a bad injury. If he is out for that one, it does look like that I'll be having to take a hit if I don't wildcard. But that might just be the kind of stepping stone that I do take that pushes me over the edge if Sterling is out for a couple of game weeks. John Chappell saying all this wildcard is clickbait. It's kind of like this video is very like discussion about the wildcard, so I don't think it's clickbait in that one. But I mean, it is from now till the end of the game week, December, about 2 weeks' time. It's going to be all of that. So if I used it earlier in the season, like other people, I probably would have clickbaited it as well as I think they did. I've both Salah and Mane, and I want to sell one. Who should I sell? And I want to get Ali or Son instead. Who should I get? Personally, I think I would keep Mane. I just think that he's the better option. I think he's going to be scoring more points over the season. Salah has shown a resurgence recently. I am a Salah owner, so I'm happy with that. But I think that Mane is going to be the better option, so I probably would keep him. And otherwise, You say Ali or Son. I think Son's probably the safer option, but Ali is a little bit more of a differential, and if you need the money, then I probably would just go Ali. If you want a mount replacement, I think you should go for Grealish. I think under 10% ownership, great fixtures over the next 3 when a lot of other teams have quite tough fixtures, so I think I would definitely go with Grealish on this one. Time to move on from Muset, so let's check their fixtures. So I think you have to keep Muset for the next 2. I think the Watford fixture is probably the last game week you play him, and then you transfer him out for these ones. I don't see any reason why you would transfer out Muset when the likes of Liverpool have a blank, and you can kind of save a lot of money rather transferring out Salah or Mane or Robertson or Trent Alexander-Arnold instead of Muset, because should be a set start in Sheffield United. They're not playing terribly at the moment, actually playing quite well, so I would just keep them. Hardly just 48 this week. Didn't you have Salah and De Bruyne? I had Salah and De Bruyne as well. This 45 was just from last night. Obviously, the points have not updated yet. But so far, it's going to be a green arrow, it looks like. We'll talk more about it later on in the week with that kind of team selection that we do, and a little bit of a review on game week 17, and then as we preview game week 18 as well. Thoughts on Richarlison for Wildcard. So they have Arsenal next, which is not a bad one. Then they have Burnley, and then they have Newcastle. So some iffy fixtures in between there. I don't think that's the best fixtures in the world, but if you kind of want to have a little bit of a differential with a team that looks like they're playing quite well, I would definitely look at Richarlison. I don't think it's the worst transfer in the world, but I think that there are other options that you might look at rather than him. I don't know if I trust Everton just yet, and maybe if they got a new manager in this week and we definitely know the kind of style they'll be playing, then I would look at him. But otherwise, it might be a little bit of a miss, but I will never kind of keep you from doing what your heart desires. And if you really want Richarlison in, I don't see it as a terrible move. I think that nice differential that you could maybe get some points from. Pulisic replacements, I think that's going to be Grealish again. And I think that over the next 3, I don't think there's a team that has better fixtures than Aston Villa. So it might be worth a little bit of a punt there. Hopefully he does stay on penalties. That's the one thing I was kind of pondering. After that miss, maybe if he will kind of stay. Grealish or Ayew, I think I would go Grealish. But otherwise, this was just a little bit of like an update video for you guys to just kind of make sure that if you haven't hit the wild card yet, maybe just hold off on it. I don't think there's many price rises that will be happening tonight. Maybe the likes of Son, so you could look at him. But otherwise, I'll be transferring. I have transferred Grealish in for Perez. I confirmed that on Twitter last night. That's the only transfer I have made. And if I do wildcard, I'll definitely be letting you guys know over on my Twitter at DavyFPL. So stay tuned to that. Otherwise, we have some more comments here saying your thoughts on Magnus Carlsen being number 1. I saw that last night, and it was absolutely crazy that he is. I think to be the number 1 in the world for chess and then to be number 1 in the world for FPL just kind of shows that I wouldn't want to say like he's like very lucky, because I don't think chess has a lot of luck. I think FPL has a certainty of luck, but it definitely looks that he plays his own game and he does what he wants, and I can only commend him. And to be number 1 in the world is absolutely insane, even if it is for a couple of game weeks, or he should probably have a good shot of winning it, as he does have basically all his chips, if I do remember. I think someone on Twitter said that he does have all his chips, so great shot of being in with a good chance of winning FPL, and that'll be absolutely outstanding. Many players buy players tonight. They force price rises. That is true, Ross Hurley. I'll be keeping an eye on the price rises. Basically, just stay tuned to my Twitter. I'll probably should have access to it tonight, and then I'll basically confirm with you guys. Mohammed saying, have you ever been number 1? I haven't been number 1. The highest I got was 19th last season, and then I finished 22nd. So not quite first in the world. So that's why I'm saying that it's an amazing achievement. Is it time to sell Trent Alexander-Arnold? I think it is a good time to sell Trent. He has picked up those 4 yellow cards, so if he picks up 1 more, he is banned. I think over the next 2, he should play against Leicester, so maybe he picks up a yellow card in that one. And then you kind of give yourself a nice leverage, because if he picks up a yellow card against Leicester, he's banned for the next one. And you probably only want to be bringing him in game week 19 or say. So you have a nice little window there that you can go for. Salah saying Kevin De Bruyne killed it tonight. Keep him. I do think it's a keep. I think that if you're looking to transfer someone out from Man City, it's probably going to be likes of Sterling or someone like that. Otherwise, I think Kevin De Bruyne is a keep, and I think he might even be a little bit of a differential captain, even if he's not the best captain. I think still a good captain shout. Zalepo saying I triple captain Kevin De Bruyne. That's a great shout if you did captain him. That's an amazing one. Let's see how many points he actually did score at the end of it. So 16, and he should be getting 3 bonus points, so that's 19. So I think he did outscore Salah in that regard. So looks to be probably one of the best captaincy options that we've had this season, and nevertheless an excellent triple captain option if you did go for him. Time to get rid of Robbo. I think the Liverpool defenders, it is time to get rid of them. I think you can kind of take a nice little window of reflection over the next couple game weeks and see whether it is worth bringing them in. But otherwise, I do think that it is a transfer out, and I probably would be looking at transferring them out if that was my kind of way to get a better player in. Is KDB to Ali worth it? I don't think it's worth it. I think I'd be keeping Kevin De Bruyne right now and then kind of look at that. Supersport Gaming saying best defenders to bring in right now. I would be looking, I know they're not the best defensive team currently, but I think that United have some nice fixtures over Christmas. They don't concede many, so you might be lucky and get a couple clean sheets over Christmas, and that'll be quite nice. But otherwise, the likes of Crystal Palace and the likes of maybe even Spurs. I don't think that the Spurs defenders are the best, but I currently have Aurier on the pitch there, so can't be contradicting myself too much. But I think that those 3 teams should be quite good. Luke, Spurs have great fixtures. I think it is time to triple up. I think if you're going to be wildcarding or if you want to be using your free transfers, I'd be looking at the Spurs triple up. I think because we're downgrading the likes of the Liverpool assets, that should be quite nice. And then you get lots of funds to kind of upgrade. So, sorry for joining in late. Are you wildcarding this week? I think this will be a nice conclusion to this kind of wildcard thoughts video. I have not decided yet if I'm 100% going to be wildcarding. I think I'll take a look at the price rises tonight. I think I'm leaning 60% to 40% on wildcarding this week, just because of how badly the teams that I'll be looking at, Spurs, United, they performed this week. So I was put off a little bit from wildcarding this week, and there are some tough fixtures coming up. The likes of Leicester versus Man City, Chelsea versus Spurs. Not a great game week to be wildcarding in, especially because I'll be looking at those Chelsea, Spurs, Leicester, and City assets. So I think that I'm not currently on the wild card, so hopefully you guys haven't hit your wild card chip yet. But I just wanted to publish this video out tonight, so it gives you a little bit more thought into what's going on in my head currently, and to prepare us for this week coming up. So stay tuned for those videos. As I said earlier on, I will be doing a wildcard draft tomorrow for those guys who do want to be wildcarding this week. And then I'll be creating the preview and team selection as usual. So wanted to create this little live stream to get a little bit of interaction there, and hopefully haven't put too many of you off of your plans. This is just currently how I'm thinking, that I'm a little bit uncertain now whether I'm going to be wildcarding or maybe saving it for a better game week. So some people saying there that Mount, or Florin is saying that Mount is going down in price. Currently, for how I bought him, that price rise is not going to affect me. You only get a price rise every 2 million. So I've currently I have 3 million on him. So the price rise tonight isn't going to be doing too badly. So thanks to all of you who did join in. I know that I didn't post it on Twitter, so hopefully I'll be getting access to my Twitter account tonight, and then I'll be communicating all the updates. But hopefully you did enjoy this video, a little bit of a live stream. I felt a little bad about not live streaming on the deadline with Davey on Saturday, so apologies for that. So wanted to get a little bit of interaction out in the game weeks, and hopefully in the upcoming game weeks we'll be having those deadline with Davey streams as well, and hopefully they be getting a little bit of nice team news before that. But otherwise, I'm going to be signing out. Thanks so much for joining here, and get ready for the next week of content. I'm Davey FPL, and I'm going to be signing off. Cheers, bye.